starts off decent enough in Chandler, Arizona, which definitely didn't fucking look like Chandler, Arizona. Looked way out in the desert, but she's busting into the house, and I guess they had really good intel because they just decided to drive like an APC through the front wall, so they had really good intel to know that there were kidnapped people in there, but not know they were dead. And they don't notice the smell of 42 dead bodies in the wall until there's like a hole in the wall. But they have to make the hole like 6 inches bigger, and then they suddenly notice the smell all at once. Do you notice that at all?
Yeah, I didn't quite understand why there was bodies all over the walls. Why would they do that?
Well, it's a good way to hide bodies, but I mean, imagine if you bought that fucking house. How pissed would you be? Here's your property value in like 2 fucking seconds. Yeah, they shoot like a shotgun hole in the wall, and they don't smell anything, even though there's 42 dead bodies in there the whole time, and then they make it like a little bit bigger, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh! Oh! And they're all like puking outside for like a couple minutes.
I don't
And
think
there's a bomb
even
later
the
on.
drywall would hold that stench back.
No, it wouldn't. In Arizona, it's gonna be hot in there. You know, look like that air conditioning, but yeah, it was a pretty cool scene, opening and everything. Tense. Makes you think Emily Blunt's character is gonna be actually, have like a purpose for the movie. Then she's recruited by Josh Brolin, who wears sandals, so you know he's in the CIA. And yeah, they head out to Luke Air Force Base, fly over to Juarez, and start a tense mission. And right off the get-go, you kind of realize this team that they're with is like, it kind of takes away all the tension because they're too good. Yeah, they're shady and they're too good. Like, they spot every single hitman except for the one that she kills. Like the 2 cars full of the hitmen, they spot them way before those guys are even planning on doing anything or even really spot them, it seems like. So right from the get-go, I kind of felt like, I'm like, is anybody even going to die in this? And of course, throughout the movie, no one dies. So it kind of kills some of the tension right there.
I don't know, I really like the
Cinematography
pacing
was
of
really good, and the music was.
the beginning of the movie. Yeah, the soundtrack was awesome in the beginning. Like, it just built that tone.
Yeah. Really good job building tension. It was really fast-paced until the highway scene when her with the CIA, they're all recruited. And then when they get back to the base, that's when the movie kind of goes to shit. Because then Emily Blunt really has like no purpose for the whole movie. And they actually like point out constantly in the script, she's going, why am I here? I don't know why I'm here. And then he's just like, well, you're here to listen and watch. So she's pretty much just a catalyst for the viewer to observe the movie through. And later on they explain she's there because of a jurisdiction thing with the CIA operating in domestic territory, needing a domestic unit to cooperate with them. But yeah, she's just pretty much slowing down the plot the entire time and halting the entire investigation.
They couldn't have made the movie about Benicio del Toro's character, because they try to make him mysterious. But I think if they would have integrated a story better, it would have been more interesting, and just thrown out Emily Blunt's character for the entire movie.
Yeah, she was useless. She really served no purpose to the entire movie. I mean, she worsened it. If it was more about the CIA's relationship with the Sicario, which is Benicio del Toro, and how, I guess he was like a lawyer in Juarez for a while, and then they killed his family, and then he became kind of a Sicario for different cartels, like the Colombian cartel, and the CIA was using him to gain control of a cartel, to wipe out a cartel that wasn't cooperating with them so that they could gain control of that area with a cartel that is cooperating with them. That's what I gathered from his character and their cooperation with the CIA.
Emily Blunt's partner was an even better agent than Emily Blunt, and they they set up to make her seem like a complete badass.
Yeah, they were both kind of pointless though. They were just there as like the loophole of the movie, but she was the central protagonist of it. Yeah, and she's really stupid. That one scene in the bank where he tells her not to go out, and they go to the bank. They they stop one of the higher-ups, Martinez or whatever, the higher-ups that they're trying to follow. They stop some of his cash flow. They seize like $17 million, whatever. Well, she does by going into the bank. Josh Brolin tells her not to do it, but she says fuck it, goes in, and I presume they get her ID from the surveillance system in the bank that the cartel is also synced into. And somehow, later that afternoon, the cartel is so organized that they're able to get Shane from The Walking Dead to meet her in a bar where her partner was going to go, decided to get drinks with her. So the cartel knew where she was going to go before she knew where she was going to go, and they'd already paid the guy who was supposed to seduce her and get information or kill her or whatever, which was pretty far-fetched. Yeah, her partner was going to take her to a bar that he had never taken her before. He went to the bar before. He knew the guy who was under the cartel's employ, but he had never taken her there before, and it gave no indication the partner was in on it. So the cartel just took a wild guess and paid a guy in advance to follow Emily Blunt on the assumption that they had already figured out who she was from the surveillance camera and where she was headed, that she was going to be at that bar later that night. Like, that didn't make any sense at all.
You know, to emphasize even more how useless she was, she got her ass kicked. Again.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it would have been... I mean, it's the way it was approached, she should have got her ass kicked. I mean, the other guy was a trained officer as well, but... yeah, she didn't handle that very well. She, like, sees the rubber band and she just starts acting weird. She didn't give him, like, the, you know, the line, like, where I gotta use the restroom or something like that. It was just kind of like she got up for nothing and... Yeah. That wasn't handled very well, so he picked up on it and was choking her out. And then, of course, Benicio del Toro was following her the whole time, and you get Shane. Gives him a wet willy to confess and all that shit. That was pretty funny, actually.
I like Benicio del Toro's character. He was like the best part of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't focus on him. Well, I don't know what he was supposed to do in the scene with the other Mexican guy that they brought back from the border.
Yeah, he just
The
rubbed
first
his
mission?
crotch up against
Yeah, he's like rubbing his... Like, he gets a jug of water like he's gonna waterboard him, but you never see the water. Like, he just starts squealing while he's just rubbing his dick in his face. Like, oh, what the hell was going on in that scene? It just cut to the drain, and there was no water going in the drain, but the guy was making noises. So I'm like, okay, is he, like, raping the guy? What's going on? I thought there was gonna be a waterboarding, but... You're not going to be screaming in a waterboarding. Yeah, that was a little weird. And this whole time in the movie, there's this side story with this Mexican cop who's always sleeping and talking to his son while his, you know, his wife cooks breakfast for him and stuff. And they only have like 2 conversations because they couldn't think of anything that Mexicans would talk about outside of beans and football, I guess. And later on, this cop is ultimately going to get killed by Benicio del Toro's character, and making that completely pointless, just showing the kid playing soccer later on and gunshots in the background. Like, oh, it hasn't changed. This kid has to grow up in this area. This is a very heartfelt side story that you should give a shit about.
Yeah, they want you to sympathize with the whole character.
Yeah, that was really, really added on. I don't really see a purpose to that. The pacing already slowed down significantly after their first operation, and then, yeah. They pull over a bunch of Mexicans on immigration, and they question them, and of course one of them conveniently knows, like, the exact tunnel they need to find, and they guess it from, like, process of elimination. This one tunnel behind a car is, like, exactly where they need to go, and they got it from just a random immigration stop. Like, that was a pretty extraordinary coincidence. I like the fact he was a cold-blooded killer. It's just the fact he wasn't the focus of the movie was what the main problem was. And it just made the whole reason that it's going... It, like, wanted you to have empathy with that cop or something, but at the end of the day, it didn't work. And the entire time, Emily Blunt is just constantly questioning everybody. And she's gone, am I out of my jurisdiction? The CIA is not supposed to operate here. And then she even goes to her superiors. And they're like, you're not operating out of your jurisdiction. Just do everything they tell you. You're not going to get in trouble. And she's just like, I need help. This is illegal. Everyone's telling her to just shut up. People are literally telling her to, like, shut up and, like, slapping her because she won't shut up the entire time. I'm wanting her to shut up. Just let the freaking movie go on. Stop bitching about jurisdiction and ethics. You're fighting the war on drugs. I don't really understand like the initial problem she had with the traffic scene either. She gets back to that base in the traffic scene and she's like, you killed those people. It's like, yeah, they were holding guns, and you're escorting a VIP, and they were clearly wanting to either kill that guy or capture that guy. They told them to drop the weapons. They didn't, so they shot him. Like, what other business would they have carrying guns across the U.S.-Mexican border? Like, what was her real problem with that situation? And she wanted to do everything by the book, and then her character would then complain about how she wasn't getting enough done by doing shit by the book, so she's joining this unit, which steps outside the book a bit. At least at that time, it was only very little. And this unit, who can apparently take down the entire Mexican cartel in what, like 2 nights?
Yeah.
That's pretty astonishing quick. It was like 2 or 3 days. They took down the entire cartel. Not one of them died either. No one like got hurt, except for Emily Blunt. The entire movie, she's just dead weight, and everyone's telling her she's dead weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, the night vision mission was cool. They kept switching from night vision to like thermal vision. The thermal vision was way better though, because night vision can't really see what the hell is happening. Thermal vision, just like in real life, is ideal. They should have just stuck with that. But yeah, she goes through the tunnels. She's the only one that gets shot. Everybody's just like, hey, don't shoot us in the back, you fucking incompetent bitch. Like, and stop complaining all the time and questioning why we're doing everything the way we're doing when we're taking down the entire cartel in like 3 days. And of course she gets shot. And yeah, I mean, not much happens in that tunnel scene other than her getting shot. And then at the end, she finds out Benicio del Toro is Sicario, who's gonna go use the cop and all that stuff. And he shoots her in the vest 2 times and subdues her that way. He doesn't kill her, but he gets away that way because she holds him up. And then he uses the cop to pull over the Martinez guy, and the Martinez guy for some reason complies with all that stuff, which I find that hard to believe. Especially when the cop comes out and doesn't say anything for like 10 seconds. He doesn't think that's suspicious.
Yeah, especially in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that scene where he's just staring at the cop for like 10 seconds. It's like, okay, he's not going to go for his gun. It's like obvious this isn't a normal stop. Cop's up to something, whether he's, you know, got a guy pointed at a gun pointed at his back or he's planning on taking him out himself. Like, the cop gets out, doesn't tell you anything's wrong, just stares at you. Might ring a couple bells. Then the Sicario goes into the complex of the cartel leader and hitmans everybody. The guy only has like 4 guards, I guess.
Yeah, I like that.
He has like 1 on the gate,
part of the movie.
3 in the second gate, and then he has like 1 guy inside. Seems like he'd have more people than that, and then like a servant girl who just stares at him. And then like a badass, he just kills the guy's family. That was pretty cold. It's pretty sick though.
Yeah.
So he does that, he kills the guy, and then this ends on the closing scene, which is way too predictable and cliche. Where he's trying to he meets Emily Blunt in her hotel or apartment or whatever it is, and he holds her at gunpoint to sign the agreement, to sign the form that said they did everything by the book, so the operation isn't investigated or whatever. I'm not sure how much weight a signed agreement would hold if she decided to change it later on or say that she was held at gunpoint under duress. I think that would nullify that agreement. But he gets her to sign it as if that's all that needs to be done. And of course she denies it a few times, and then he puts the gun under her chin and says, you know, you don't sign this, you'll be committing suicide. And she signs it, crying the entire time, and then he walks out. Of course he's walking out. He parked his car by her balcony in front, which kind of makes me wonder how he got in and snuck behind her when she was out on her balcony in the first place, but that's an oversight. But they had to do the whole thing they do in like Point Break and all these movies where she has the gun pointed at him and just starts shaking.
Yeah,
Surprised she didn't just go, no, and start firing her bullets. Yeah. Yeah, she acts like she's gonna shoot him, and then she just starts crying and doesn't shoot him, and he walks away, and that's pretty much the end of it.
I was looking forward to this movie. Never
Uh,
guessed.
I thought it was gonna be pretty mediocre, and it turned out like it started really well, and had the good music, had the good cinematography. It was really tense at the beginning, and then after that traffic scene, Emily Blunt's character just fucking whined and nagged, and all the characters were telling her to shut up, and they're trying to do work, and she's just getting in the way of it, and she got in the way of the plot the entire time, and she was way too soft for what she was doing. I mean, Josh Brolin gives a really good reason for why they're pretty much allowing the Colombian cartel to take over. It's the fact that 20% of the population's doping up. It's a big problem. You need to have some control over the system. If you can't just eradicate the problem overnight. And her working police, in the police force, she has like no common sense to understand any of that. Like, she like couldn't grasp it. She just like punches him, and I don't know, it's so stupid. She had no business being there. Yeah, they should have written her as a lot more of a hardened character, or someone who could rationalize things better and not just say everything has to be by the book as if the cartels are playing by the book. They did a good job of showing the brutality of the cartels and what they were capable of, but after the initial setting, they did nothing after that. Like, it was just them cleaning house. like no one died. There was like no threat to these guys. They were too good.
Yeah, and the only thing like stopping them is Emily Blunt.
Yeah, Emily Blunt was their biggest obstacle. Just her like slowing them down with her like, we should fill out the proper form for this. We should ask and get written permission from our senator or whatever she wanted before they went in and did stuff. We need to petition our congressman and have a bill passed so that we can proceed into these areas so that we can have bureaucracy slow down your your plan to take down these cartels. I don't know what the hell she was thinking.
You know, back to the bank scene. I was just like, don't go in, don't go in.
She just
Cameras
walks
are
in.
there.
Exactly. I was thinking that too. I'm like, she's gonna be seen on a camera. But then in my head, I'm thinking, well, they can't possibly do anything that quickly. They're not gonna get. They can't possibly have somebody waiting at a place she can't be at 2 hours later. But they have no idea she's gonna be there, ready to kill her or get information from her, who's already paid in full. Oh, no, it's Shane from the fucking Walking Dead. There he is. Oh, yeah, I mean, it was, it had a good movie hiding in it, but it wasn't there. It's like a 6 or a 5 or something like that. It could have been, like an 8 or a 9 if it concentrated more on the Sicario and the CIA relationship and showed a little bit more of the brutality of the cartels and had an actual, like, threat to these guys. It just didn't, like, the suspense the movie initially set up was just gone. Everybody who dies in the movie is, I mean, it's the random 2 guys that die from the explosion from the beginning. Like, that's it. It just doesn't feel like there's a threat or anything that can stop these guys. They've got such an advantage, which is probably somewhat realistic, but, it doesn't create very good entertainment when it's just like, okay, these guys are just going to destroy these Mexican cartel guys. How the fuck does Benicio del Toro, whatever, how the fuck does he turn into like a super assassin from like a lawyer?
You know, I was actually thinking about that. I'm like, how long has it been since his daughter got killed? Like 10 years or something?
Yeah, now he's a super assassin. Like, he can go in by himself and fucking kill like an entire cartel. Like, he turns into Agent 47 after his family dies. Does a convincing job of it, but still, it's like, yeah, that's pretty good.
It's like Bane. Instead, he just puts his crotch all over people.
Do you feel like you're in charge now? Can you feel my balls against your cheek? Yes. Yes. I'm going to rub my balls in your face. Yes. I haven't bathed in weeks. The stench rises. It smells like garlic and onions. Yes. Hey, Mr. Sicario.